This is Gateway City Sports.
It's a trap!
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
This is the Team of Rivals podcast.
Everything you want to hear from the big sports to the big screen.
He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Doesn't like you. I don't like you either.
Time winding down, Michael for three. Yeah! Yes! She is gone!
I can't believe what I just saw.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! You believe in miracles? Yes!
You may fire when ready.
What?
All right, everyone, welcome back to this week's show. Apologize for not being around last week, but it was a week before the season started, and it was still spring training, and I hate it, and you guys know how much I hate it. I didn't do any of my podcasts last week, and you know what? That was okay. I didn't mind taking a little bit of a break from that because the last 2 weeks of spring training are grueling. They mean not much, and we pretty much already know what's going to happen with our rosters, and we're all just waiting for opening day to get here. And thankfully, it's here, and that is not an April Fool's Day joke. Our teams did play today. One outcome, depending on who you ask, was a little bit better than the other. But we're here to talk a little bit about that tonight. And amongst some other things, we got a little grab bag at the end, maybe. Who knows? Hell, I don't know. We don't plan these things out ever. But with me tonight are the two guys you usually see on here with me. One is usually talking first, but he's having issues with his MacBook. I mean, okay, can't just get a PC. You know, I give a lot of people shit for having an Android, Elliott. And I'm like, why don't you just have an iPhone? And I'm going to give our friend on here an equal amount of shit for having a MacBook instead of a PC. I don't know if that really is the reason why or if it makes a difference. I just like to do what I do. But Elliott, so we got to see some baseball today. I know we've been waiting for a long time. It feels like forever, and it's kind of been a normal off season as far as how much time in between the last pitch or the last out and the first pitch of opening day.
Right.
I know that Pete is with us. You guys can't see him, but we'll go ahead and we'll just put his image up here. There we go. From the old school logo, we've got Mr. Gaddis. He is somewhere in the background lurking around, and I think he's still on with us, but you never know.
Hey, Ron, long-time listener, first-time caller. How's it going? So glad to be a part of the show this week.
I know.
Great.
Well,
Thank you so much.
You're using a reliable iPhone to make up for the shortcomings of your Mac, but that's all right. At least you're here. That's
it's
the
not
most
the
important
shortcomings of my Mac specifically.
It kind of
the
feels that way,
shortcomings
though.
of the battery in my Mac. So it's not the Mac itself.
Did
it's
another
the battery.
Elliott? Did another company?
You know I'm gonna hang up and listen for my answer.
You won't like your answer, man. You won't like it. But okay, so opening day finally arrived. Yes, the stadiums are not full, although it does look like a normal Pirates game. If you look out in the stands,
that is true, or White Sox game, depending on what
White Sox game, or a Marlins about somewhere between June and the end of the year.
Tampa Bay,
right? Yep, yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't notice much of a difference, but it was odd. The first game that I caught today, just a glimpse of it really in the background, was Toronto and New York. The Yankees were playing, and it did look odd seeing so so many empty seats and somewhere like Yankee Stadium is not normal. We all know this. I didn't watch any of that game, though. You know why? Don't care?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I turned it on just to kind of see the beginning of it. I was like, okay. Had enough of these teams I don't really give a shit about.
I love how we're all dying for action for real baseball to start up. And then the minute we see it, if it's not our team, we're like, whatever. And, you know, that's nice.
F these guys.
It's like, I don't know how people watched the KBO last year. I tried, and it was obviously a replay because I'm not getting up in the middle of the night to watch KBO.
2:00 in the morning.
No, and so of course I waited, and Pete, as you could tell, the Cardinals played today, so just take a wild guess at what happened. Not the outcome of the game.
Ron got drunk?
No, not yet. This is actually my first one of the night. I couldn't watch the game. They were playing in Cincinnati.
Oh, of course. Hey, but you're not the only one who had trouble watching their team today. I also had trouble watching my team today.
I'm sure this was nationwide, as Bally Sports, Marquee, you name it, whatever network can't, between the streaming services and those entities, they just can't get past it. I mean, even on opening day, they couldn't, as my dad put it, I talked to him earlier today, they couldn't just bypass that for opening day. I mean, is this not like a national holiday? Should be.
Right. Exactly. I mean, the fact that I had to tootle around with my computer and phone and TV for probably 2 hours, I really didn't get the game on until the third inning, till I figured out a way to bypass blackout restrictions.
You have to teach me how to do that offline, because I at least get the radio side of it if I am a MLB.TV subscriber, so I can at least get the radio.
Yeah.
And that was something. But it would have been nice to at least have it on the background. My work week and my day job has just been pure hell over the last couple of weeks, and I really haven't had time to keep up or pay attention. But I did try to carve out time this afternoon to at least put it on the speaker here and listen to what was happening as I was chittering away at the keyboard. But Pete, were you able to catch anything today? Because like everybody else, I think Elliott's lucky enough to have Thursdays off. I don't think you do. I don't know if you caught anything.
Well, actually, the boy is on spring break. And
fun.
His spring break did not coincide with mine at work. So so I was supposed to be working today, but I took part of the day off. And we headed into the city and had a guy's day in the city. So, no, I missed the game entirely because we got back in time to watch the latter half of the game. But then he had his first baseball practice of the year. So it was a boy day.
Okay. Yeah, we had
and take my answer.
Well, he's going to do this all day. I know it. Will had a game tonight, and he's, for those that have listened to me on this and other shows, that my youngest boy, could care less. I mean, his motivation for sports is not what mine was when I was a kid. It's more like his uncle. He's
picking grass in the field.
It's more like his uncles. And he's been on our show several times. That's his interest in sports. And so getting him just out the door is painful enough. But he had a game tonight. He did connect on one. And when I say connect, I mean a dribbler down the third baseline. I swear at this age group off the machine pitch, if you just make contact, you're likely on base, because it's rare that you see a play get fully executed, meaning like throw from left side of the infield to first baseman who can actually catch it is a miracle.
Approach, scoop,
throw to first. I tell you what, that's happened once. Their first game, they executed a play. Now it was second base to first base, but they did it, and I tell you what, it was like watching a hit and run. Like you just never see it, right? And I'm not talking a hit and run at the major league level.
An executed hit and run.
Executed hit and run, or a sacrifice bunt for that matter. That's how rare it is in 7-8-year-old baseball to see a play actually get executed on defense. But whatever. Guys, where do you want to start? You want to start with your club? End on a high note with mine? Or how do you want to do this?
That's fair.
Pete, I'll hang up and listen to my answer.
Ron, it seems to me that whichever club we start with is going to be ending on a high note for you tonight. So and since you're driving the car, I suppose that you can decide whether we turn left or we turn right. And I'll take my answer offline.
Okay. I'm gonna hang up on him is what I'm gonna do. I'll really give him his answer offline. He can wait till tomorrow to hear it. Let's start with the Cubs. What happened there? It was a game against Pittsburgh, and look, we're all gonna face each other 18 times this year. You're not gonna win every one of them, but opening day in Chicago with Hendricks on the mound, what happened today?
It was cold.
It was 32 degrees. So neither starters went deep. They both had 3 innings, and then they left it to the bullpen. And the best bullpen of the day won, and we got a lot of what we got last year. A lot of strikeouts and not a whole lot of hits. But I tell you what, sack fly was the word of the day. 3 of them from the Cubs, which is something that you really didn't see the year before, was contact with runners in scoring position, or, so that was nice to see, but the lack of hits was just not what we saw during spring training. Bullpen looked okay. I mean, it was cold. It was a cold day. It was the first game of the year. We lost to the Pirates. That's your story. So,
no, actually, the story was there were people in the stands.
Yes.
And so we can celebrate that there were actually human beings watching baseball today.
And it was a Pirates game, and we didn't have to listen to the boo birds.
Well, it was a sellout if it was a Pirates game, even at 20% capacity.
Actually, technically, it was. I did catch. That was one of the few things that I did catch on the radio while we were driving around today. Was the paid attendance? I think was 10,340, something like that.
Yep.
Which technically, because of the limitations, was a sellout.
I wonder how many teams that don't normally sell out will sell out this year and claim that in 2021 we sold out all of our first half games.
How embarrassing would it be for the Marlins, their first home game this year, and they're going to have higher attendance with to 20% max on capacity than they normally have for a game?
You know what's going to be even funnier, Pete, and it is going to happen to one of these teams where they're not even going to sell out limited capacity.
We'll see in the Texas Rangers first game, because they are at full capacity.
I was going to bring that up, and that to me, what about Houston? Is it just the Rangers, or is it just Houston? Is it just?
You know what? I don't know if Houston is too. I think it's up to the ball club.
Well, it sounds like Houston's a little smarter than the Rangers ball club at this point, because I cannot imagine saying yes, all 50,000 of you, or 45, or whatever the capacity is on their ballpark, but I just can't imagine even wanting to go there if I knew 45,000 other human beings were going to be floating around, sharing the same piss stalls and going at the same beer counters and everything. That I just, right. I'm not there yet, but on a personal level, I don't.
I'd go.
I would not.
I got my shots.
I have not. That's the difference. I have not been.
Yep.
I have not been vaccinated. I tried to go. Actually, I tried to go today. I tried to get the one-shot Johnson. And
that's what she said.
Yeah. Hey, you know how this is a worn out joke. I've said this a couple times now, even on Twitter and Facebook, and nobody laughs. But I heard that for the one shot Johnson, they only inject about 80% of it into you, and then they pull the needle out and squirt it on you. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's how I would administer it.
And then you just rub the rest in.
Anyway.
I didn't know that. I thought it was intravenous, not topical, but okay.
All right, let's not get technical here. But no, I was turned away today. They ran out, and unless you had an appointment, you couldn't get. So I was turned away right before spring break. It would have been nice to have that, but I don't know if I would have been functioning tonight, because I don't know how I'm going to react to things like that. But I am not ready to be around a big crowd. In fact, even being in an auditorium today with probably the most people I have physically been in proximity with in a very long time, I didn't even like it. Because, when you see 100 or more people.
And you don't like people in normal life anyway, so.
That's not true. I'm a nice guy.
Period.
They're out of 100. If 100 people are standing around there, you know that like one or two of those sons of bitches has COVID, and they just don't know it yet. And I always feel uncomfortable, even going near that. I had to go to the Apple store and walk through a mall, and I was paranoid. And I'm not usually a phobe or anything, but I'm like, I've made it. I think what's bothering me the most, guys, is like I've made it over a year now and not caught it. And I'm like, just one wrong move, one wrong turn here, and I'm going to get it right at the finish line.
Right.
And then, shut myself down for 2 weeks, which is what I don't want to do. My God. But anyway, we didn't come here to talk about coronavirus. But it is impacting the game we're watching, obviously. So that's all you guys got on Chicago. It sounds kind of like kind of a meh beginning to the year. I know I've been there a few times.
Well, especially because I don't know about you, Elliott, but for me, expectations aren't exactly all that high.
Yeah.
This is the end of the run, and the question is, is the run going to end midway through the season, or is it going to end at the end of the season? But, the team's going to look really different next year, and it's only a matter of time. So kind of acclimating myself to that reality. And I'll hang up and listen to your answer off air.
Jesus Christ.
It's interesting because they had Ian Happ on MLB this morning, and they kind of asked him that same question. They bluntly said, "How do you feel about the team this year?" Because this is kind of that last chance with the core, and there's they didn't really frame it as there's not a ton of expectations, but they said, if you guys don't make the run, this is kind of it sort of thing. And he's like, he gave that typical answer, we got a great group of guys we're excited about this year, blah, blah, blah. But it really didn't sound like a ton of confidence because of the answer. And I think that there's a whole lot of uncertainty. Like Pete's mentioned, this could be a half season sort of thing. So if they don't perform well, we could see the breakup in July. So my expectations are kind of right there too. They're kind of right now. They're kind of meh. So we'll see.
Well, I've been trying to. Oh, go ahead, Pete. Sorry, I didn't know you were going.
I was just going to say, part of me kind of wants it to happen sooner rather than later. I'd rather, because I don't want to get teased again, right? Like we were in 17 and 18, and you could even say in 19. Since they won the World Series, really, there's been a lot of teasing of Cubs fans, and every year they've fallen short, and the offense falls off the table, and I'm tired of it. So honestly, there's a part of me that just kind of wants to be done with it and just say, let's move on. Let's see the end of this. Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Well, and if they continue down this trend that they have been the last couple of seasons, like they did today, then we will see this sooner rather than later.
All right, guys. So we switch gears a bit here. We can go to the Cardinals game, I guess. I think we've got some of our usual suspects are on the line. I see CJ there. I see Greg are watching. I've been trying to feverishly. I hate Facebook so much. They've changed it to where when we would go live, I could go to the video, hit share, and just the groups would be listed, and I could just boom, 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 one tap. Now you got to do every one of them at a time and sort of post all over, and it's just like exhausting. It's just goddamn exhausting, and I hate it all. You can't tag people on these things anymore either. So even if I wanted to tag your name on it, it's like impossible to do now. Pete, you got out at the right time. I hate Facebook so much more these days. I don't know why. Pete? You've known me from the beginning. I could not stand Twitter for the longest time. I stayed away from it.
The reason I was on Facebook.
Oh, Jesus. But you know how much violently I hated Twitter, right? It is so much more user friendly than Facebook as far as just sharing out anything. It's just character limitation sucks. The fact you can't edit something if you misspell something later is kind of sucks too. But my God, I can't.
That's the most annoying part about Twitter is not being able to edit a tweet.
Oh, I hate that so much. They can fix that too.
So why not let just you edit it? It's ridiculous.
Yep, I agree. All right, so on to the Cardinals. They went to Cincinnati today, and look, it's a win. We'll always take it. The offense definitely showed up. They jumped all over Luis Castillo, who some experts pick like guys like that and Flaherty as kind of dark horse candidates for Cy Young contention. So that team's going to be much different this year, taking away an ace like Trevor Bauer. They're trying to find that guy that can step up and fill that role. That didn't happen today. But on the flip side of that, his opponent, Jack Flaherty, didn't look that sharp either. 6 earned runs is, not the best, not the way anybody wants to start off, but that's what happened. He gave 6 earned runs up. He's got an ERA right now of 13. It's one game. Even the best pitchers throughout the course of the year are going to have a bad start or two. It just happened to be on day number 1 for him, but his spring training wasn't glowing either. And part of me wonders, guys, that I don't look. Jack's put himself out there. You know, he challenged the whole arbitration system and everything, and you can't blame him for it. I think he did the right thing, and he won. He's been pretty vocal. He's a vocal player. I've been on record here. I'm not going to walk it back. That on most issues he's ever talked about, I've been right there with him. But look, the spring training wasn't great. Last year wasn't that great. So, look, if you're going to be the staff ace, man, if they're going to call you the opening day starter 3 or 4 weeks before the season even starts, I can't really articulate this well. I'm just saying, where is it? Then where is it? If you're the ace, where is it? Are you going to be the ace or not? And that's kind of how I feel about this. It might be unfair, but like if you're going to talk it, okay. I've got to see you back it up like an ace. I got to see you back it up like an all-star. Again, not panicking over one game. I trust that he'll be fine. He knows what to do. He's a big boy, but it's just stuff like this, showing up for opening day, ready to go. And I didn't expect a no-hitter or a dominating performance, but 6 runs from what's supposed to be your staff ace against the Cincinnati Reds, who, I guess their offense, you can't really look at their offense and go, they're not that much, or they're not the Pirates, but they do have some capable bats in their lineup. But still, you're supposed to be the staff ace.
He's still young, so it could be a maturity thing with him too. So, first game in over a year with fans in front of him, so that could just be that first game back butterflies sort of thing. Even though they had all of spring training in front of fans, regular season's another beast. So.
Greg says, "Did the opening day now last year, Ron?"
He may have in 2020. In 2019, it was Miles Michaelis. I know that. But that was really Flaherty's first year, really. Greg's saying, "Are you really worried about Flaherty? He's the best pitcher in the Central, in my opinion." I don't know if that's my opinion. I don't know if I share that right now. They need him to be. They need somebody. If you're going to contend with an NL West, you better believe your staff ace is one of the better pitchers in the National League. I don't know that he is. Of course, Greg's saying in the Central. I don't know if he's the ace of the Central yet or not. We got a whole year to play out. We definitely know. I think he has the capability, but
we all know Flat Bill Pissy Pants is the ace of the NL Central.
It would be kind of like weirdly enjoyable if he was, because I could be on his ass all year long. He would be even more miserable being the best pitcher in baseball than he is right now.
Would love nothing more than that.
The Cardinals, I speak of 6 runs. They did jump out with 6 in the first inning. Dylan Carlson, I think it was batting 6th in the order, hit a 3-run jack off the right field pole. I probably should have phrased that whole sentence different. He hit a home run off the right field pole. Did
he use his one-shot Johnson on that one?
Well, if you hit a 3-run jack off the right field pole, I guess, yeah, you might qualify for the one-shot Johnson, I guess. Anyway, I couldn't see this game. I could watch the replays about 15, 20 minutes after they happened, on the app. And, of course, now at this point, I think the game's been over for a few hours. I can actually go back and at least watch the condensed game. So I may do that. But, guys, isn't it great that they all get a day off tomorrow?
It is the dumbest thing that baseball does by far. And especially the way that they had it scheduled this year. I mean, there's 2 games that were postponed, but the fact that you were supposed to have all 16 games today and no baseball tomorrow is ridiculous.
Is nobody playing tomorrow? Not one team?
No. All postponements. I think the 2 postponements were till Saturday.
Oh, because of
COVID.
Yep. Still, that's always bugged me. Pete, you've heard me bitch about it for the 5th year in a row now. You wait all winter for baseball to start, you get it, and then you got to all take a day. And poor us, us big poor babies here can't watch our teams tomorrow. And it doesn't matter if they're playing or not, guys. I can't watch them anyway because I live in a Cincinnati market all the way down here in North Carolina. But I couldn't watch anyway. But all right, I'll listen Saturday. Maybe as I shift farther out to the coast. This has not occurred to me. I think at one point, once I go far enough east in North Carolina, I get out of I don't know where the Reds stop their claim in North Carolina, because I don't think they go all the way to the coast. I actually may be fortunate. I'm heading to the coast tomorrow over the spring break, and I just might, guys. I just might be able to watch a game on Saturday. Hell, I don't know. I'll let you know.
Well, you should be able to on your MLB.TV because it's by location. So
right, just not in Charlotte.
That's exactly.
I'll be waiting with bated breath for the update.
Yeah, you should. You're not going to pay attention over the weekend. We usually don't talk to each other. Just Thursdays.
Just in general.
Just Thursdays.
This is the only time we talk.
Just Thursdays, we all randomly arrive at a spot online on Thursdays, and it's like, "Oh, you guys ready? Sure. What are we going to talk about? We don't know. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it." So I don't take much away from today. Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt collectively are batting .600. So that's pretty awesome. Now they collected some hits today, but I got to tell you, just looking at the lineup, it's still a shame that Mike Schultz feels like he's forced to bat Paul Goldschmidt second and Arenado third. Just look, I know we're a little old here, and we're definitely not the younger generation, but how wrong is it to have a first baseman built like Paul Goldschmidt and you're batting him second? Like, it just feels wrong. Like there should be a 1-2 in there somewhere that are capable enough to get on base in front of these guys, and they still don't have it. And you got to bat Goldie second, and you got to bat Arenado third, and then DeYoung batting fourth. And DeYoung is I don't know what to think of him, guys. I've been high on him at times, and then other times I'm like, oh boy, he's such a streaky player, and he's capable of racking up a bunch of strikeouts in a short period of time. Here he is batting cleanup, and here we go again. Like, we haven't had a cleanup hitter now we haven't had a solid 3-4 that you can put in ink on the lineup card every day.
You've got a solid 3-4 in your lineup, but do you have somebody with a good OBP that can sit in that first and second spot ahead of those guys?
Well, we don't know yet, but I'd love to see him try that more in spring training. I have no problem with Tommy Edman hitting at the top of the order. In fact, I think he's the only guy right now that makes sense to bat him at the top of the order. But that number 2 hitter, maybe it'll happen. Maybe this is what they're waiting for to see if somebody emerges. Maybe it is Dylan Carlson. I would love to see them try him at hitting second in the order. I just can't believe they didn't do it more often in spring training. And here I am looking at Paul Goldschmidt and Arenado batting 2-3. Just, doesn't it look wrong? Doesn't it feel wrong? Like if you were constructing a team on your old Nintendo 64 or whatever, MLB,
there you go.
Big League All Stars or whatever that game was, that you're gonna have your big lunky first base, RBI baseball, whatever. You're gonna have this big built first baseman batting second in the order. Hell no, where are you gonna bat them? You're always gonna bat him third or fourth. And I don't know, it's just strange. You know, did Rizzo lead off today?
That's your old way of thinking, Ron, because the new way of thinking now says that you have your best hitter bat second so that you get him up earlier in the game and he gets more bats. Doesn't make sense to me, but, you know.
I knew it didn't. I knew you were just saying that. We are. What the hell do we know? So anyway, that's kind of baseball today. I'm not going to go around the league. We don't care that much, except I do care about I think the Dodgers did play today, but I don't think they played the Padres. I'm still waiting for that one. I still think that's going to be a pretty fascinating matchup to watch throughout the year to see how those two are doing. Oh, Colorado topped L.A.
Oh,
imagine that, 8-5.
The Doom Boners are going to be out in L.A.
Oh yeah. We should probably just pull up their screen right now.
No. It's too early for them. They won't arrive to the season until 80 games in. So relax.
Or September.
They're fine. That's
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm kind of done with baseball for tonight.
Yeah, the only other team that I'll probably keep an eye on this year besides San Diego and, the NL Central will probably be the White Sox, because I have a feeling they're going to be one of the other entertaining teams this year.
That game is supposed to have. Oh, I'm on April 2nd.
It's 1-0 Sox right now.
I see it. Yep. All right. Eloy Jimenez is out for the year, huh?
I've got it.
Oh, you got it in the back. Is that what's making the noise in the background?
No, it's on mute.
Hey, Eloy Jimenez. So I heard this in a car this week. Like he's gonna be gone. He pulled a Kyle Schwarber, not his leg, but his pectoral. Right? He tore it.
Yeah, he's out 5 to 6 months.
Jesus Christ!
Huge blow to the White Sox. I shouldn't say huge, but it's a big blow.
Yeah, I mean it's supposed to be a piece you were counting on this year, regardless of where he was. So your pain of that trade is going to be delayed at least 5 or 6 months, right? So let me ask these guys this question. We've
already experienced the pain of that trade. That trade is now closed and done because we no longer have to watch Quintana go out to the mound and be a replacement level pitcher.
That's right. And now finally the Cardinals can get their compensatory pick because of that trade.
Yeah. And we can get the Rockies to pay for it. That's how it works. Cardinals get a compensatory pick, even though they're in contention every year. But the thing is, once we make that pick, the Rockies have to pay the salary. That's how we're going to do it from now on.
Not just the compensatory pick because you're in contention every year, but also because you have usually the 4th or 5th highest attendance figures in all of baseball every year. Yeah, you guys definitely need to get
that TV revenue, man.
Play in a small market.
Yeah.
It's that TV revenue. It's that star power. We just don't have it. The
biggest bullshit in baseball is what it is.
Genius is what it is. The Matt Carpenter thing with Cardinal fans, and we've talked about it a lot on here about, the anxiety of everybody seeing him play so much in spring training. He ended up 2 for 40, whatever. Got his second hit on the very last day. So, that decision, it took all the way to the last week. But, yeah, Tommy Edmonds is starting second baseman when the rest of the world knew this before camp even started. And so, when it's finally announced, it's like, look, I know these decisions aren't easy for them to make. I know he gave them a lot over the last decade. That there's a lot of money committed. We know that. But damn, if that organization doesn't think we're all fucking idiots. Like, we know he's not a starting caliber player anymore. We all know this. Just the decision, it's just kind of this stuff that rubs you the wrong way. Look, and most of my displeasure with this whole thing around Matt Carpenter is actually not with Matt Carpenter. This happens to players, and we see it all the time. I think fans are mostly upset. I think it shifts more towards just how the organization has handled it. I think that's where the rub comes from. It's how the organization has handled it. It's just what they won't say in front of the mic. Now, do I expect them to say, no, we think he's a bag of shit and we don't want him on the team anymore? No, of course not. But why do this in spring training? How tone deaf are you? Not that you should make organizational moves based on what Twitter's saying, but my God, if 99.9% of everybody that has a pulse that pays attention to baseball saying, oh shit, he's a bench player at best, and not even a bench player at this point. Why hold out? Why hold out on all this stuff, all this drop? Why give him so much time in spring training, so many at-bats and so many starts to prove what? We've been waiting for it since September of 2018. He has not been a good player since then. Why did it take this long? We're not stupid. We are not stupid.
Yeah.
Not stupid, but definitely boring.
You go fuck yourself.
I'm not in San Diego this week.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask Pete, after the spring training that Nico Horner had and how well he looked. I mean, the last spring training game, he had a 3-run homer and he looked like he just angered that thing over the wall. And I felt like it was, you shouldn't send me down the South Bend, but you're doing it anyways. I saw an article today that said having David Bodie as the starting second baseman to start the season was a unanimous decision made by all parties involved, all leadership within the Cubs organization. I have a hard time believing that. What are your thoughts?
For the long-term health of the organization, I think it was the right move. You look at Nico Horner's path to the majors. He was rushed out of necessity. The Cubs had no more shortstops on the roster in 2019, and so they needed him to play, and he filled in admirably. He was exposed pretty early on. And, his approach at the plate isn't all that advanced. And then last year, from a developmental standpoint, having him on the roster was absolutely the right move because he wasn't going to get competitive at bats because there was no minor league season last year. I think that had we had a normal season last year, Nico Horner would have been down in the minors and he would have played at AAA. And then this year, I think it's the right move. It's the right move for the organization. And I think it's the right move for him. And everybody, looking at he hit the shit out of the ball, yeah. But if you look at his stats, if you break them down, most of the damage that he did during spring training was at the beginning of spring training, when pitchers were still getting caught up. He was something like, pull out the Matt Carpenter number. I think he literally was something like 2 for 40 towards the end of spring training. He was not hitting the ball as the pitchers were ramping up. So great, he hit a home run in the last game. So what? I think overall, in the long run, this is what's best for the Cubs organization. This is what's best for Nico Horner because he doesn't currently have an advanced approach at the plate. He's a contact guy, and his approach hasn't matured. And pitchers had a book on him and learned to take advantage of it. I give him all the credit in the world for putting in the work in the off season, but let's send him down to the minors. And yeah, he's going to start at South Bend, but that's only going to be for a month until the minor league season starts, and then he'll get sent out to Iowa and he'll get his at-bats in, and I have no doubt that he'll be back up. Look, at Bennett, well, jury's still out. We'll see him sustain it over the course of the year, but it certainly appears that the same approach benefited Ian Happ 2 years ago. So why would it not benefit Nico Horner, who had fewer minor league at-bats when he was called up to the majors than any other Cubs player? Fewer than Kyle Schwarber, Ian Happ, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Wilson Contreras. All those guys had much more seasoning in the minors. So why anybody thinks that it should be different for – look, he's not Alex Rodriguez. He's not Mike Trout. You're not losing that much by not having him on the opening day roster. I'm totally fine with it.
Cool.
And I'll hang up and I'll take your answer off air.
All right, so we have a visitor on now. We were getting closer to the hour here, guys. I'm like, oh, he's not going to call in. He forgot. Like usual.
Isn't he on spring break right now?
No, his spring break was last week, and so
okay.
He's unfortunately he's had to go back to education this week. B, are you there? Did we hear you yet? Hang on, I don't think I've got you. Oh, there we go. I've got him now. Braden, did you watch the game today? Were you able to? Were you home?
Yeah, I did. I have ways.
Sorry, I had your volume up like ridiculously loud in my ear. Go ahead, say it again.
I have my ways of watching the game. I just want to say one thing as far as watching the games. I just want to say, screw all the streaming services that don't have the game. Like, I feel like I'm a raging boomer complaining about like local channels when I say this, but whatever TV you have, I think you should get your local sports channels and your local weather. Like, why is it so stinking hard to watch a Cardinal game that I have to look up a generic site of streaming a game on my Xbox and I have to put it full screen just to watch it on my TV? Like, come on, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, like, well, you're not alone. You're not alone. There are people up in arms, and I see it scroll past me on Twitter all day long. I did all spring training where people couldn't watch anything.
And you know what? Batley Sports new owners put out $5, $10 a month. Put out where you can watch the game. You know what? I will give my mom $10 every month just to be able to watch the game. Just give me a game. I don't care how.
He's got a point here. We've all had like a cable subscription at one point, right? We haven't been streamers our whole life. And I used to have a DirecTV deal where I paid, I think I don't remember the amount. I want to say it was like $15 a month or something to get the sports package, which included all of the regional sports networks, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
In the RSNs, the highest paid RSNs, like per, is like $5 per person per month. And that's ESPN, and that's with all the ESPN channels. Normal RSNs are like $1, $2, $3. People like Marquee is trying to charge $5 and $6.
They're trying to charge ESPN prices. Let me ask you.
Yes.
Here's a fascinating one for me.
And there's
about
not even that much content.
But here's the fascinating one for me about ESPN. I think you guys brought this up a couple episodes ago. We were bitching about streaming services and all this other stuff. Is that ESPN is one of the most demanding on the networks, right? Where they want a premium for their content. And I know who I am. You can see me on screen here. But Christ, who watches ESPN that often? I mean, guys, I don't ever turn it on ESPN anymore. I have no reason to go there.
You don't have to do it for Monday Night Football anymore. I mean,
right?
It's on ABC.
So I'm just like, how the hell are they able to keep demanding premiums like this? I don't know, but yeah, this regional sports stuff. I mean, like these streaming services are clever enough now to where you get your local channels, you get your local broadcasts from the major networks.
And I think what Braden was trying to get to is, Fox Sports Midwest, Fox Sports Arizona, Colorado, Marquee Network. I will gladly give you $5 to $10 a month to your app to allow me to stream it to my phone, to cast it to my TV. Just make it easy for me. Don't black me out because I'm a cord cutter.
Yeah, it's complete horseshit. And a lot of these streaming services now are either owned by or part of some kind of cable network anyway.
Right.
Like take AT&T, right? Who owns DirecTV. So I have AT&T Now service, which is their streaming.
Their streaming service.
And okay, so if I have a dish mounted to my roof, you can get Bally Sports. But you're telling me I subscribe. Money goes to the same damn people at the end of the day, and you're not going to look. I'm with you, Elliott. Like, at least give us the option to pay more, because I would gladly pay a little bit more of a premium to ensure that I get my regional sports. Like, why is this so? Why is this so? Sorry, Braden. Braden, hang on a second. But in fact, don't listen to this next part. Like, why is it so fucking hard to do? It can't be this hard to do. We'll pay the premium. Ship 80% of what we're paying you to. Yeah, go ahead, Pete. Hear your opinion.
And it's because of the agreements that Major League Baseball has already signed, and there's hope that those contracts are going to change. Because right now the teams don't own their local rights and don't specifically own their streaming rights. And I'm sure that a lot of these agreements were signed before streaming really became a reality. And you're right, Elliot. I'm on board with you. I'm waiting for the day where I can pay $5 a month to get Marquee and I can stream the games when they're playing. But I think that what they're afraid of is that you're much more likely to end your subscription to their app during the months when baseball is not playing.
I'd probably keep it and watch more of the content. Kind of like I do with Netflix. Like, I've had Netflix for years, and even though I'm, I go weeks without watching it, but eventually I go back to
There'll be something on there that you'll want to see. Right?
There's always something on there, and they have to keep that content going. That's up to them. I mean, if they want my money, give me decent content. Give me content over the off season, about trades and rumors and stuff like that. Shit, put us on there. I'm sure somebody will watch it. You might get 10 people. So
I know Greg and CJ would be on.
Well, the thing is, the only streaming service that has the Cardinals channel is AT&T Now, but it's like, yeah, we could switch that for $10 more, which is like a $10 a month thing for the Cardinals games. But then it's like, our luck, we'll switch that, and then they'll take it off.
I know.
Yeah, because we switched to YouTube TV because it had the Cardinal game. And
a lot of people did. Yeah, no, a lot of people did. That's exactly what I did.
A year later, it was gone.
Yep.
And that's why, I have YouTube TV. I think it's one of the best streaming services out there for your money. And I know Hulu had Marquee last year, and then it got dropped because they dropped all RSNs. There's something that happened there. So the only other streaming service that Marquee is on is Fubo TV.
Yeah. The problem is you subscribe to that, then you don't get a bunch of other stuff that
it's the same price as YouTube TV, and it's not as good.
Yeah.
It's all focused
Exactly.
on
That's the
sports.
thing. It's a treasure hunt just to watch your team.
It's a treasure hunt. It kind of is. Yes, I agree.
It's ridiculous.
You guys should all just move out of market. Move out of market unless. But
Yeah,
you
you
could
know what?
probably move to
I'm-
Seattle, but Cincinnati
You know
probably
what?
claims that
I'm
market
gonna
too.
move. I'm gonna move to some state just so I can buy MLB TV and watch the stinking game.
I
Because
think you got to move to Alaska.
how ridiculous is it that people out of state can watch whatever team just fine, but
That was lovely.
I play and I can't watch the game, but somebody in North Carolina can watch it. I mean,
Yep.
that's ridiculous.
I know. We're all saying the same thing over and over again. We're all pissed off about it. It's ridiculous. And like, Pete's right. He probably knows more of these facts than all of us do combined. But you would think, even with agreements and everything in place, if you're just paying attention to what fans and everybody else is saying, the frustration out there about just not being able to watch a team that's, stationed 2 hours from you physically, not being able to get that on regular regional sports broadcasts is absolutely ridiculous. The world, they can all see it. The world is going to streaming. That's the way everything's going. There's going to be a day, it's not going to be very long from now, where, the telephone lines aren't going to serve much more than carrying some electricity to your house, and that's about it. Because telephone lines, I don't know how many telephone lines actually carry telephone lines anymore. Isn't that funny? I never really think about that.
I mean, everything. I mean, if you want telephone in this area, you go through Comcast, and it goes through your cable line. Right. I think that's pretty much what it is anymore.
Yeah.
Unless you have AT&T, you're using a cable line for your phone. It's a VoIP. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I will give you $5-10 a month just so I can watch. Like, they need to make an app like there is for like Netflix or Hulu or something. Just make your own separate thing, and I will.
It's MLB.TV, Braden, and that's it.
Guys, I want to get off of this subject because we're not going to be able to. Nobody's going to listen to us. We won't solve it.
No.
But we all know what we want. You know what? If you pay attention to social media, they all want the same thing. Like, we're all clamoring for it. And
yep.
At some point in time, agreements or not, there's going to have to be something that kind of forces a decision to be made on someone's part here. I think they're leaving money on the table. All of these entities are leaving money on the table because they're not making these options available to us. This a la carte thing is going to be a thing, and I cannot wait for it. It might be just as expensive as it was before. I almost don't care at this point. We don't want our lives messed with.
Give us the option. That's the point.
Give the consumer
the option.
Well, of course, you pay for a
it's going to be
service.
like the end of Return of the Jedi when it finally does happen.
You have to explain that one to me offline. But I know Elliott and I were making the same face. Like, what?
What? That when it happens, it'll be like the end of Return of the Jedi. Everyone celebrate.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Pete, you were saying something. I think he came off. It sounded like he came off mute for like 2 seconds, and then he went back away. Like he couldn't really form his argument. Go ahead.
No, that's exactly what I did because I didn't understand exactly what Braden was saying either.
I think it was the Death Star blowing up. I think that might be.
No, Return of the Jedi. What are you?
Is there not a Death Star that blew up at the end of Return of the Jedi? I think there was.
Okay,
Is that what you were talking about?
The celebration, like the.
The celebration. Oh, because we got our a la carte. I'll go with that. Guys, outside of baseball, there really hasn't much I've been paying attention to, but you guys might be mildly thrilled to know that I did finish WandaVision. In fact, I finished it when I was home with Braden, celebrating his 16th birthday.
16th.
I said 16th. I did
how many special seltzer waters have you had today?
I haven't. I said 16th birthday.
No, I think you said 15.
No, I said 16.
All right.
I did catch the first 2 episodes of Winter Soldier and what the hell's his name? Falcon and Winter Soldier. I did watch the first 2 episodes of that. I thought it was interesting. I will say that the this new Captain America does have a very punchable face. That's kind of all I'll say about it. Oh, Elliott, I was wondering why he had a permanent smirk on his face. That's because we lost him on.
Yeah, that was weird.
We lost him, and I'm not going to be able to get you back on screen, so I'm just going to go here. All right, guys, I think we're almost at an hour here. We're almost at 11 o'clock. I know we started a few minutes late, but we've gotten all the baseball talk, and we certainly covered the streaming issues that everybody has with baseball these days. And so I think this is a good place to cut it off. Braden, glad you got to call in, and glad you got to watch some of the game, or at least you figured out how to.
Yeah, I watched the majority of it.
Yeah.
I'm
going to have to go back and watch a replay because I can't watch it until a couple hours after it's over, but oh well.
Last thing I'm gonna say is I was critical of having Goldie and Arenado at 2 and 3. I kind of wanted them at 3 and 4.
I know, I already hit that earlier.
As well, I haven't. So I'm gonna say my piece, but I think I might like it more now because the Cardinals struggled to score runs in the first inning last year. So if you have, let's say, Edman and Carlson coming up and they get out 1-2, then you have Goldie who doesn't really have Arenado there. So it's kind of growing on me. Hopefully it pays off.
Well, it worked today. Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked today, but it's just one game, and we've got a lot more to play. Of course, we all get to take a day off tomorrow because we really all need it, and we'll get to pick it back up on Saturday. I do hope they at least it was what these teams have to do in the Central. Nobody's going to run away with it. I don't think so, and I think you guys probably agree. I don't think there's a runaway in the National League Central this year. So what you have to do is you have to beat up on your division opponents when you have the opportunity, and hopefully the Cardinals exit the weekend with a 2 out of 3, at least at a minimum, from Cincinnati. The Cubs can probably do that too because I don't know who you're facing on the Pirates the next 2 days. Hell, I don't even know anybody in their rotation anymore. So hopefully we all get off to a good start by the time we roll into next week. I won't be here for a show next week, so we will not have a Team of Rivals podcast next week unless Elliott and Pete decide to go ahead and run with one on their own, which they have the freedom to do that. They do not need my permission whatsoever. In fact, they can fire me next week while I'm gone if they want to. I might prefer that.
That's what he's hoping for.
Pete, this is your part here. Take us out of here, please.
Well, if you enjoyed this evening's episode, don't forget to subscribe. If you want to help spread the word, please give us a 5-star review and tell your friends to subscribe. We're available on Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to podcasts. Also, be sure to check out the other Gateway City Sports Network podcasts, including the Derek King Sports Show every Wednesday at 9 a.m. on Facebook Live, and 2 for 3 with Moose Michaels. You can send us an email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. You can find Elliott on Twitter at
TOR_Elliott.
And you can find Ron at
TOR_Ron75. And you got to include the 75. I don't know who the guy is without the 75, but he must be a convict.
Makes sense. So that's your original login. Got it. Thanks for sharing.
I think my original login was real discreet. It was just my name. Like my first and last name. No hiding whatsoever. But anyway, all right. Opening day is here. We got some regular baseball to watch. It'll start to get interesting at some point. But I think what will be interesting is, as much as just watching my own team, is actually watching what happens to your team. Up now, I think, into the point we get into July to see if this core is ultimately dismantled. I know Pete said he wants to see it happen sooner or later, or something happen, right? And I was this way for years, guys, where I wanted a direction to show up at some point in time, and I know it sucks waiting for it. I still think the Cubs have the talent there in their everyday lineup to actually make something happen, to go on a run. We'll see. It's mostly the pitching and the bullpen that are going to, I think, have the ultimate say in that. And if it's not happening by July, you're going to see a very different team, I think, show up on August 1st. But that's why we play out a full season, to see how this all plays out. Still, I want to say, fuck the Padres, if I can just lead us out tonight. And I will be back in 2 weeks to do another show. But until then, we love you all so much, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye, everyone.